to train our children. How do we do that? When situations come up in life, do we just readily answer the question for our children? When they're facing problems, do we just jump to the answer? What we can do is, what does God's word, the Bible, what does it say on the matter? This way, we're helping to train our children to use their power of discernment. Let's give our attention to a father and notice his response to a question from his son.
Hey Dad, you won't believe what happened at school today. The basketball coach asked me to try out for the school team.
Wow. But you told him no, right?
Well, not exactly. I told him I'd have to get back to him.
Look, we've been over this before. Being on a school team would take too much time away from your spiritual activities. Besides, think about the bad association.
But I'm not a little kid anymore. Please, Dad. I think I can make it work. Can't I at least try it?
No, definitely not. You know my answer will always be no.
But why?
Because I said so, that's why. End of discussion.
You never get into anything.
Now, how might the father in this demonstration have helped his son to sharpen his powers of discernment? Let's look at it again.
Hey Dad, you won't believe what happened at school today. The basketball coach asked me to try out for the school team.
Wow. I'm not surprised though. You play pretty good, son. But what did you tell him?
Well, I told him I'd have to get back to him.
That's wise. You know, it's not good to give a hasty response. But come here, have a seat. Let's talk about this.
Okay. So, I know that we've talked about school sports before, and then it could present its spiritual danger, but I'm not a little kid anymore. If it interferes with meetings or service, I'll just quit. So what do you say, Dad? Can I at least try it?
Son, would that be the best way to decide what to do? Look, I have my Bible. Why don't you open it up to Proverbs, and I'd like for you to open up to 14, and I want you to read verse 15.
It says, "The naive person believes every word, but the shrewd one ponders each step."
Great. Okay, so according to what you just read, what does a shrewd person do?
It says he ponders each step.
Right. He ponders or he thinks deeply about what he's going to do. Imagine it this way. Suppose that you had to cross a busy intersection. When would you look for oncoming traffic? Before or after you step onto the road?
Before, of course.
Okay. So if you're thinking about joining the school team, when do you think that you should think about the possible consequences? Before or after you join the team?
I see what you mean. I should think about possible problems now instead of jumping in and trying to make it work.
Right.
But it's impossible to know all of the problems that might come up, isn't it?
Well, that's true. But think of it this way now. Let's say that you were going to use your money to buy something expensive. Wouldn't you try to gather as much information as you could about the product? Maybe you'd even speak to some of your friends who have already bought it to see what they thought of it. But you would do some kind of research, wouldn't you, before you spent your money?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so how can you apply that same principle here on this activity that in fact is going to cost you a lot of time?
Well, I guess I could talk to other kids who've been on a school team and see what they thought about it and do more research about potential dangers.
That's good, son.
Dad, were you ever asked to play any sports in school?
No. In fact, the coaches probably would have begged me not to play. But you know what? You could speak to Brother Smith at the meeting this week. Did you know that before he became a witness, he used to play basketball on a university team?
What? Really?
Yeah. You know, he might give you a realistic picture of what it was like. But in the meantime, why don't you do some research on recreation and school sports? And then maybe you could present it at our family worship this week. I'll tell you what, I'll pretend to be you and ask to join the team, and you can explain to me, based on Bible principles, whether you think that's a good idea or not. What do you say?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for hearing me out, Dad.
In both of those scenarios,